Going on, everybody? But it's your boy B-Day back for another video. This one's gonna be a Laker video today. We're here to talk about, our chances in the bubble. Now, if you guys haven't heard, Rajon Rondo recently just got successful surgery done on his right thumb, which he broke inside of the bubble. He's out to about 6 to 8 weeks, which in the time slot set for the league right now, he would be projected to come back mid-second round. Maybe conference finals if we're to make it that far. And I definitely don't want to, overharp on Rondo going down because I was one of those fans in the camp of the less he plays, the better, because he was not very good all year. You know, he does bring a knowledge to the game that is very uncanny. He does bring toughness and grit and things like that, but for whatever reason in this regular season he just wasn't very good, and he played about 21 minutes a game, so it's not too bad. It's not going to kill your team, but there were definitely stretches as a Laker fan just watching every game, seeing like, okay, when Rondo's out there on the court, our team kind of dips in, rather it be in energy because he's dribbling the ball so much. You'd have to pick up from him on defense. He's dribbling the clock out on offense and then making that pass to try and get an assist rather than just swinging the ball on the flow of the offense. Whatever it was, things weren't working really well with him, and it shows in the numbers. He was a net negative this season when LeBron was on the floor, and that's kind of the whole reason we have him. Is when LeBron is out, we need someone to quarterback those minutes and say, hey, let's just stand, even if we just stand pat, whatever the lead was or whatever the deficit was when LeBron went out, just hold it down. Even if you go neutral and just you don't take a dip into the deficit or you don't extend the lead, that's all you can ask of a backup point guard. Anything more is gravy, right? But what he would do with the net negative rating is make the deficits larger or make the leads shrink. And that's definitely not what you want out of your backup guard. We are obviously missing Avery Bradley already for this Orlando trip. He opted out of going to the bubble, which is cool. But this video is kind of just different alternatives we can find to better our chances in those and replace those 21 minutes per game that Rondo played to make them as efficient as possible, right? So we've got the prime candidate that comes to mind is just start KCP in Bradley's spot, which is cool. He's been good all year after those first rough 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. He's been great. And then Alex Caruso would get a bump in his minutes. He's got one of the highest, him and LeBron have one of the highest net ratings in the whole entire league in terms of as a duo. You place them with any three other players, and them two, their net rating is through the roof. I think it's top 3 in the league. But on the other hand, I could see the argument being made that, Caruso is only as impactful as he is because he can only play 17 minutes and just go absolutely hard in those minutes. And it's like, how many minutes does he play before it starts to diminish in return? And that's definitely a argument that I could hear, but he definitely should get an uptick in minutes, whether it goes from like 17 to maybe 22 or 23 minutes a game, something like that. He's a heady player, and I know he doesn't get the love because of the meme sensation he's turned into, but he's a good defender. He's a smart offensive player, and he just knows how to make winning plays, whether it be setting a back screen for a shooter in the corner or cutting off of LeBron or off of AD's gravity. He's very good at those type of things that translate to winning basketball. He'll take a charge, he'll get a deflection in the passing lane, things like that just energy things that Rondo wasn't really doing for us, So I definitely expect him to get a few more minutes. I see a guy like Dion Waiters who, had his share of off the court troubles this season, getting released from the Heat, due to the gummies and whatnot. But when you look at it from just a basketball perspective, and I really do think he'll have his head on straight because A, he's in a lesser role with the Lakers, has to do a lot less, so there's less chance of distraction. B, guys like Waiters and JR, these are a lot of their last shots, so to speak, in the league because of the reputation around them. So I feel like he'll be more focused, motivated. And then just on paper, it makes a lot of sense to play him either with or without LeBron. In terms of spot up shooting, he's in the top 6 percentile in the whole NBA in spot up shooting percentage, which, that in any world, that'll help you stay on the court, especially with a guy like LeBron who can make any pass. He's going to attract 2 defenders to him pretty much every possession that he's aggressive. And, even when LeBron's off the court and we have those minutes of where are we going to find our shot creation, Deion Waiters, that's his game. He can create shots for himself. He can make tough mid-range shots that a lot of guys on the Lakers really can't make. That's not really in their game to shoot tough twos or things like that. Deion Waiters can slide in for like a 8 or 9 minute stretch in a game and just do that. It'll hurt to lose that quote-unquote playoff Rondo that we've all been kind of waiting to see. I also think this might be a good thing in disguise. You get to give a few more minutes to Caruso, like I said, give a few more minutes to Waiters, as I mentioned. And J.R. Smith could even, for a first-round series particularly, can fill in and play a few minutes. We obviously know he fits perfectly alongside guys like LeBron and AD, just spacing and making tough contested threes. That'll keep you on the court on a LeBron team. But this might also be a good thing for Rondo, to where he can fully, recover, work on his cardio, things like that while he's rehabbing the thumb, and maybe even have a little chip on his shoulder for when he comes back. Guys like me, Laker fans, have been doubting him all year, saying he's washed. Hey, you'll be a hell of a coach, bro, but right now, you're not helping us win games in the season. But it might rejuvenate him, and maybe he's one of those guys who only really tries hard in games that matter. And if we can get him back in a second round against, potentially a Utah or a Denver or even a Houston Rockets team, who knows who will be playing in the second round. And then have him ready to go for the conference finals. It might be a good thing for the Lakers as a whole. Definitely excited to see the dynamic, how we handle the guard minutes with Bradley not being there and Rondo being hurt. Does Quinn Cook get a few more minutes? Do we do what I suggest and play Caruso more and have Waiters just fill right in and be the second unit type of guy who can create his own shot and by that make it easier for other players to score? I'm interested to see which way Frank Vogel goes, but one thing that I do know will be fine is Anthony Davis with those second lineups. He's got to be great, and I have no doubt in my mind that he will. In a first-round series, especially with no Rondo, I think he'll be just fine, whether that's Jaren Jackson guarding him. If the Pelicans make it, he's got Zion, and I feel confident in that matchup. If the Blazers make it, who is it, Zach Collins, feel confident that we have the edge in all those matchups potentially, so that when a second round comes or when a conference finals series comes and we really need them to be big, he's already kind of in a groove from a first round matchup of playing a lesser defender or a lesser, just a lesser talent. So I definitely feel that we'll be fine. The Rondo thing isn't as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. And I think ultimately the guard minutes, the big band-aid to all this is just play LeBron a few more minutes this season. I think we've done a good job keeping his minutes down. I think he was at 34 this season, 34 minutes a game. And, in the playoffs come, he's probably going to be closer to 40. First round matchup, obviously I would like to play him around the 35 and just have us win those games against the 8 seed. But like I said, the Band-Aid, he's the great, fixer of things. And if everything just goes to hell, we got LeBron, we got AD, we'll be just fine. I'm picking us to come out of the West. I'm picking us to win it all, man. It just feels like one of those years where anything can happen for sure. But if I had to place my money down on the team, I gotta go with my boys because we've got the best player in the league, we've got the best second option in the league, and you know, we've got great chemistry with one another. We've got size. We can play small without really losing much. And we've got a bunch of guys who have been there before and a bunch of tough guys. So I like all those things in our favor. Interested to see what you guys think. Laker fans, non-Laker fans, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be back for another one soon.